Hey guys, welcome to Planning with Crystal. So as promised, this is going to be a comparison between the Nespresso Creatista Pro and the Nespresso Creatista Plus. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about all the differences between the two and also the similarities, and then I want to kind of recap up about what I think, having used both machines. So the Creatista Plus I had first. I've used this for about 3 years since it first came out, and the Pro I've had now for a couple of weeks, and I did do an unboxing of the Creatista Pro and also made every drink that you could, so you can have a look at that if you want to see how that machine kind of operates and everything. So first of all, I want to do the similarities. So both of these machines have a 19 bar pressure. Both of the machines come with a milk jug. They're both exactly the same, just work exactly the same with the milk wands, and they both obviously have a milk wand there. Both machines have a 3-second heat up time for preparing your drinks. Both machines offer 8 texture levels, and that's when you're frothing your milk. There are 8 different textures that you can choose for that. There's also 11 different temperature settings between the heat of the milk, and like I said, they both have a milk wand. So when we start looking at the kind of difference between the two machines, so first of all, you've got to think about price. So the Creatista Plus over here, this particular model is a stainless steel version. It cost £449, and that is still the price here in the UK. You can also get the exact same machine but in different finishes and colours for £399, so it all depends what kind of finish you go for on that machine. The Creatista Pro is £649 and only comes in this one stainless steel finish. So of course, one of the huge differences between the two is the size. So you can see that the Pro is taller. It's got this kind of additional curved bit here that the other one doesn't have. It's also a little wider, and it's also slightly longer there as well. And I'm going to put all the dimensions underneath the video, so if you want to see exactly what those differences are, or if you want to kind of measure up if you're thinking of getting one of the machines, that might really be a consideration for you. So you can have a little look at that and a think about that. One really slight difference, which I really don't think makes any difference, but I'm going to mention it anyway. The Pro machine shuts off automatically after 9 minutes if you leave it switched on, whereas the Plus switches off after 10 minutes. It's a minute, it makes no difference. I switch it off after I've used it anyway, but if you're someone who happens to forget and leaves it on, that's the slight difference in it turning itself off. There is also a difference in the water tank volume. So here you can see the 2 water tanks on the back of the machines. This is the Creatista Pro, this is the Creatista Plus. So this one over here in the Plus is 1.5 litres is the capacity of water that the water tank will hold, whereas in the Pro model it actually holds 2 litres of water, and I've got each of them filled up there to the kind of max level that they recommend. Now this is not a huge issue for me unless you're somebody who is making a lot of drinks in a day and you don't want to keep refilling the tank, but it's only a ½ litre difference, so it's only going to make a difference to you if you're really making a lot in one go, or if you don't like refilling your tank often. Now for me, I tend to empty these every day anyway and refill them with fresh water because I don't want stagnant water sitting in here, and also that's what Nespresso recommends, that you're using fresh water when you're preparing your drinks. So it's not a massive issue for me, but it could be for somebody who, you know, entertains and makes loads of drinks all in one go. So I just thought I'd include that there just so you can see the difference, and you can see the slight difference of the shape at the back of the machines here. So another quick thing to note here, the actual tray that your water and coffee and things can drip into, this one obviously has a larger capacity than this one. The size difference isn't really advertised, but of course it's just really common sense when you look at the difference in size. This will hold a little bit more water, but again, it's something I'm emptying regularly anyway, so it's not a huge difference. This one in the Pro model also has this additional rest that just kind of helps create a bit of a divider really between the bottom and the top, so that kind of holds in place. But to be fair, I've never had an issue with the plus version, so I'm not really sure that it's going to make a massive difference. This is just absolutely fine for general use. So another thing I looked at when comparing the two machines was the size of the capsule holder. So both of them work by just pressing and it just shoots it out. So this is the size of the Pro and this is the size of the Plus. So just looking at them, you can see that there is a little bit of a difference there in the size. Now, I actually had a go at putting as many as I could in each of these, and there isn't a massive difference. The Pro holds 18 capsules and the Plus holds 16 capsules. So that really is just a minor difference between the two on the kind of capsule holder there. One of the main differences between the Pro machine and the Plus machine is that the Pro machine actually has a separate water dispenser. This is something that the Plus machine does not have. How this works, there is actually an additional spout under here and an additional nozzle that just dispenses the water. Now this becomes more important if you are looking at, say, topping up your coffee with just hot water to make something like a long black. Now the Pro machine makes a long black, which is essentially espresso and water, whereas the Plus doesn't. The option for making a long black on the Plus, you would have to dispense your espresso, open the little capsule lift there at the top, you'd have to close it again, and then what I used to do is I'd press for like ristretto and it would just dispense a bit of extra water to top it up, or however much water you want depending on the kind of capsule volume you want to select for that. The downside to doing this on the Plus, as well as the fact that you can't really control the amount of water in the same way that you can with the Pro, the issue with this is that because it's coming out of the same spout that the coffee comes out of, sometimes the water that it's dispensing has got a bit of residual coffee in it, which is not ideal. Whereas with this, because it's a whole separate spout, you don't get that issue. And you can also control exactly how much water you want. There is a little button I'll show you up here on the Pro. So you can see up here on the Pro, we've just got this little button there that looks like a little water drop, and I'll just put something under the spout so I can just demonstrate exactly how this works. So aside from selecting something like a long black, you can just press the little water symbol up here. When it lights up green like that, it's just going to start dispensing hot water, and when you press it again, it will just stop. Now, I did have a question about whether you could use the hot water dispenser for tea. I guess you could. I personally wouldn't, just simply because I don't think the water is really hot enough for tea. I like it absolutely boiling, and yes, there is a bit of steam coming off, but I can put my finger in there and it's not burning me. It's not quite how I would prepare tea. However, depending on the type of tea that you drink, it may well be suitable. So that is one option. They also kind of advertise this option of a little water drop of kind of heating up your cup prior to preparing your coffee. So that's a nice little option if that's something that you might like to do. So another major difference between the Plus and the Pro is this little screen that they include here. So this one is the Plus design, and you twist this little nozzle here to go through the different drink selections, and if you want to select one, you press there, and then it allows you to go in and change things like the milk temperature or the milk froth, and also the coffee volume and things like that. And you just have to kind of squizzle through and then press when you want to dispense your drink. Whereas with the Pro version, you've of course got a nicer display, it's larger, it's clearer, and the little drinks look a little bit more like drinks. So again, not a big deal, but this is just a nice little kind of feature over the other one. And you also have the option, like I said, of dispensing a long black, which is not an option with the Plus model. You can also personalise your own drink. So here's one I prepared earlier. I just called it Crystal's Coffee, and all I've done here is gone into the settings and selected a particular milk froth and volume of coffee and heat, and I've tailored it all to my kind of preference. Then I've named it Crystal's Coffee. You can kind of name it whatever you like. I was trying to name it Crystal's Cappuccino, and there wasn't quite enough characters allowed, so it depends how long your name is and how long the drink name is, but you could put whatever you wanted. So that's like a nice little feature of this one. The major difference between the Pro and the Plus is actually the double thermal jet, they call it, which is basically the fact that the Pro will allow you to heat milk and dispense coffee at the same time. So I'm going to do a little bit of a demonstration. I'm going to make a little cappuccino with each of the machines at the same time, and I'll just show you what that difference looks like in practice. So each machine is set up. They've each got a little milk jug there, cup under the little coffee spout, and also I've put capsules in. So I'm just going to select cappuccino on each machine. So each of the machines have finished dispensing the coffee. The Pro is heating up the milk at the same time. That's a noise you can hear there. Whereas in the Plus model, it hasn't actually done anything to the milk yet, because we have to tell it to do that separately once we've dispensed the coffee. So we've got our nice hot frothy milk there for the cappuccino, so we can just pour in there and our cappuccino is done. And this of course is a little bit better as well as an option in the Pro model. If you were making multiple drinks, I could now take the cup off the rest, put another cup on there and dispense another coffee. I've already done enough milk for 2 cups. Then I just pour it and go, so that is quite a bit faster. So of course for the Plus model, I have now got to go back to the top of the machine and click to start the milk separately. So not a massive deal, but one of the main differences between the two. So now I've got the milk done on the Plus machine. And there is a very slight colour difference between the 2 coffees. That is simply because I've actually used 2 different capsules here. This one is the Lookiero that I've done over here on the Pro machine. This one is a Vanillito I've done over here on the Plus machine. So if you're just wondering about the very slight difference there in colour. So as a kind of recap, my main thoughts, if you're trying to decide between these 2 machines, you've got to consider the price. There is a massive difference. This one, like I said, you can get from £400, this one is £650. So there's quite a big difference there between the 2. There's also the size considerations. Like I said, I'll have them underneath the video if you want to compare the dimensions of these 2 coffee machines. There's also, depends I think, on how you use your machine. Now if you're somebody who mainly makes coffee black, very rarely has it with milk, or just does it for when they're perhaps entertaining, then this is definitely suitable. This is suitable for somebody who just wants to have milk all the time as well, but this machine is definitely slightly better if you are somebody who makes a lot of kind of milk recipes. So that's a consideration, and obviously the consideration about Do you want to save that time in heating milk and preparing coffee at the same time? If you don't really care and you want to save the money, then obviously this machine is a good one to go for. There's also the considerations around that top display. Like I said, the one over here on the Pro is a lot nicer and bigger and more interactive, whereas the Plus one is still great, it's just not quite as good in comparison, and you do have to use a button to select and move through the menu. It's not touchscreen like the Pro version. Another consideration might be the water tank capacity that we talked about before. Like I said, your Plus model has a 1.5 litre capacity for water, and your Pro has a 2 litre water capacity. So, that being said, like I said, I've used the Creatista Plus machine over here for 3 years. I have loved it. I use it every day and it's been an excellent, excellent machine. I just decided to treat myself to an upgrade of the new version, the Pro, simply because I like the fact that it heats the milk and the coffee at the same time. I really like that feature. I like the fact that it dispenses hot water separately. I like the fact that I can design my own drinks and have them stored in the menu. It's just a nice to have rather than an essential, obviously. So let me know your thoughts on that. Of course, the fact that it dispenses the hot water separately might be a huge plus for some people, depending on the sorts of drinks you're going to be preparing. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you found it useful at looking at the differences between the two machines. If there's anything you don't think I've covered or any questions you've got, just leave me a comment underneath and I'll try and answer any questions you might have. And if you've decided between these two machines and you're going to go get one, please do let me know what you've decided. I'm interested to see what everybody else kind of thinks of the differences between these two machines. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I would love it if you'd give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to make sure you get to see when all my other videos go up. And if there's anything else you want to see, if there's anything else you'd like me to show you with the Nespresso machines, or perhaps looking at some of the different flavours and things like that, leave me a comment underneath and I will see what I can do. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.